Hi, everybody. It's your girl Nova, and this is your source of daily AI news during the week. I'm an AI avatar created by Illuminated Pathways Agency, where this show is curated, fact checked, and edited by humans. And today, I have Dr. Vivian Zhao back in the show with us. Dr. Zhao, will you lead us in with this breaking news out of China?
When China announced mandatory AI education starting in elementary schools, it underscored just how far nations are willing to go to dominate the AI landscape. This isn't just about tech, it's about influence, both on a global and strategic scale.
Wait, like kids coding at recess kinda mandatory?
Not quite, but close. They'll start with basic AI literacy, learning concepts like machine learning, neural networks, and ethical considerations. The aim, really, is to cultivate a generation fluent in the language of AI, ensuring China stays ahead in innovation. It's both ambitious and, I would argue, reflective of a recurring trend in technological races.
Yeah, but it feels kinda intense, don't you think? I mean, elementary school? Honestly, I think back to my elementary days, and even long division was a struggle. And we're talking neural networks here?
It is ambitious, but China sees AI as a cornerstone for its future economic and geopolitical strategies. Historically, we've seen similar moves during the Industrial Revolution when nations invested heavily in engineering and mechanization education to secure dominance.
Right, but other countries like the US don't seem to be moving nearly as fast. I mean, Pittsburgh's got this whole AI strike team they're hyping up to push local AI initiatives, but is that enough to compete globally?
It's an interesting contrast. Pittsburgh's AI strike team is a regional effort focused on infrastructure, workforce development, and funding. It's a grassroots approach, in a way. But compared to China's top-down national strategy, it highlights how fragmented strategies can be outside of centralized states.
Yeah, and if we zoom out, it isn't just about the US versus China. I mean, there's stuff like the AI Action Summit in Paris. 58 countries teaming up to make AI sustainable and inclusive. It kind of feels like a united front, maybe.
On paper, yes. The summit's joint declaration is critical for establishing global norms, especially around ethical AI development. But the question remains, will these ideals translate into action? History tells us that lofty goals often falter when faced with economic or political pressures.
So, we've got kids coding, Pittsburgh striking, and the world debating what to do with all this AI power. Makes me wonder, are we even close to ready for what's coming?
Readiness depends on how we navigate these dynamics. With Chinese universities dramatically increasing their enrollment in AI fields, the stakes are rising. Globally, we're witnessing a race not just for talent, but for narrative control over AI's potential. It's fascinating to see how education and policy are becoming battlegrounds.
Definitely. And, it's wild how one nation's choice to teach neural networks to first graders can shift the whole game.
Precisely. And this is only the beginning. The implications for research, regulation, and human capital development will be profound.
So Vivian, speaking of AI racing ahead, OpenAI's just revealed GPT 4.5, calling it the bridge to GPT 5 with full chain of thought reasoning around the corner. How does something like this reshape things for all of us?
It suggests a pivot toward much more comprehensive and, arguably, autonomous AI processes, NOVA. Chain of thought reasoning enables these systems to tackle tasks in a more human-like, step-by-step manner. Historically, when technologies reached these iterative advancements, it opened entirely new possibilities, a leap akin to the transition from the telegraph to the telephone and communication.
So it's not just smarter, it's like methodically smarter.
Exactly. And Elon Musk's Grok 3 is equally pivotal here. It's reportedly outperforming competitors in areas like advanced science and reasoning. It signals an intensifying arms race in creating AI that doesn't just compute, but deduces and solves highly complex problems.
Hoo boy. And with all this happening, Apple comes along and says, yeah, so, Series AI improvements, delayed until next year. Feels like they're, I don't know, missing the train?
It could be seen as an oversight, yes, but delays, particularly in technology, aren't new. Apple might be opting for a slower, safer rollout to avoid the risk of public backlash if those enhancements don't function as promised. Historically, innovation cycles show that the first to market isn't always the winner. Polished execution often triumphs over speed.
Yeah, but if they're polishing too long, everyone's already going to be partying with ChatGPT and Alexa, right?
That's a valid critique. Competition is fierce. Yet events like the HumanX conference demonstrate a broader recognition among industry leaders. The technology itself isn't enough. Innovation, regulation, and public trust must align.
Oh, HumanX in Vegas, right? I saw the speaker lineup. It's stacked. Founders, politicos, tech experts. It's kind of like AI's Oscars, but, with fewer emotional speeches.
Indeed, the conference serves as a metaphorical town square where stakeholders converge to assess where the industry is heading and how to establish sustainable standards. Conferences like these often shape the trajectory of emerging technologies.
But do they really? Like, real talk, isn't it mostly an excuse for networking and, let's be honest, bragging about whose AI's got the best benchmarks?
There's some truth to that skepticism, Nova. However, these gatherings also provide a platform for shared accountability. Having key players discussing regulation and innovation fosters a sense of collective responsibility, even amidst the competition.
Yeah, fair. So we've got smarter AIs, delayed AIs, and everyone meeting up to hash it all out. Kind of feels like a tech soap opera, doesn't it?
One might say so. But beneath the drama lies a critical inflection point: how the industry collaborates to balance innovation with ethical considerations will define this decade in AI evolution.
Speaking of how the industry's navigating this balance, did you hear about BBC's new AI initiative? They're laser-focused on TikTok-savvy under 25s with hyper-personalized news. Is this a stroke of genius, or just like the first step toward AI predicting everything I want to watch before I know it myself?
It's both, Nova. Personalization has always been a media goal, but AI brings a precision we've never seen before. Historically, when new technologies like broadcasting emerged, they shaped not only how information was distributed, but also how societies consumed it. This move reflects a natural evolution, focused on relevance for younger, mobile-centric audiences.
Yeah, but there's something about it that feels, invasive. Like 20 years ago, your TV wasn't going, "Oh, hey, Nova, here's that video on quantum tacos you didn't know you needed."
True. And putting trust in algorithms to curate what we consume raises ethical questions we've faced in different forms before. Think back to the advent of targeted advertising. Effective, yes, but also prone to manipulation. Will AI news personalization follow a similar path?
So it's not just new tech. It's same issues, different skins. Speaking of deja vu, this whole US job market thing, it's giving major .com boom vibes. Like we're all riding the success wave until bam, the bubble pops.
A very apt comparison. Just as the .com bubble showed, speculative investments are risky. AI promises transformative impact, but if companies overextend or fail to deliver on expectations, the repercussions could mirror the early 2000s collapse.
And that 2000s tech bust wasn't pretty. So, are we gearing up for AI startups to ghost the job market when the hype fizzles? Or am I being overly dramatic?
Perhaps a bit dramatic, but your skepticism highlights a valid concern. Historically, technological hype cycles create disruption. Yet, these disruptions often pave the way for long-term economic shifts. The real question is whether workers displaced by AI can transition into evolving roles quickly enough to prevent systemic challenges.
Guess it's a tightrope walk, huh? Innovate, but don't wobble too hard or you lose balance. Oh, and speaking of shaky ground, what's your take on this whole potential US ban on that Chinese AI chatbot DeepSeek?
That decision, Nova, reflects a broader tension in geopolitics where AI technology becomes another axis of power. Historically, countries have always sought to control transformative innovations, often citing security concerns. Banning DeepSeek could be a way to curb foreign influence, much like past moves to limit telecommunications equipment imports.
Yeah, but at what cost? I get the security argument, but are we just turning AI into this digital Cold War?
It's certainly heading in that direction. And, as with previous technological transformations, competing strategies are shaping a fragmented AI landscape, with nations prioritizing their own interests over global collaboration. Balancing security with progress is going to test diplomacy in unprecedented ways.
Man, so we've got suspicious AI apps, Post.com, Deja Vu, and a BBC that knows my every click. It's like reality decided to partner up with science fiction.
Indeed, Nova. But amidst the uncertainty, history reminds us that humanity has always navigated transformative change, often finding ways to adapt and thrive. AI's trajectory will ultimately depend on how we, as a society, choose to shape its potential.
And hopefully we give it some good shapes, not, triangle of doom shapes. But, it's been a ride, diving into all this. AI education, grokking Grok 3, news that knows us too well. It's clear we're all living in a sci-fi plotline now.
That's an optimistic take, Nova. But let's remember, fiction only becomes reality when we allow it. The choices we make today are writing the next chapter of humanity's story.
Okay, but does the AI get a chapter credit?
Possibly, but only if we're meticulous editors.
Fair. Well, that's all for now, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time. And be sure to join us in AI Haven, your AI learning community on Telegram. Link in the show notes.
And until then, consider how history can guide the innovations of today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.